Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome finally to another episode of Jash Reads. This time we're continuing reading Chapter 1 of Mockingjay by Susan Collins. The surface beneath my feet hardens, and under the carpet of ash I feel the paving stones of the square. Around the perimeter is a shallow border of refuge where the shop stood. A heap of blackened rubble has replaced the Justice Building. I walk to the proximate side of the bakery Peeta's family owned. Nothing much left but the melted lump of the oven. Peeta's parents, his two older brothers, none of them made it to 13. Fewer than a dozen of what passed for District 12's well-to-do escaped the fire. Peeta would have nothing to come home to, anyway. Except me. I back away from the bakery and bump into something, lose my balance, and find myself sitting on a hunk of sun-heated metal. I puzzle over what it might have been. Then remember Threed's recent renovations of the square, stocks, whipping posts, and the remains of the gallows. Bad, this is bad. It brings on the flood of images that torments me, awake or asleep. Peeta being tortured, drowned, burned, lacerated, shocked, beaten, maimed, as the Capitol tries to get information about the rebellion that he doesn't know. I squeeze my eyes shut and try to reach for him across the hundreds and hundreds of miles, to send my thoughts into his mind, to let him know he is not alone. But he is. And I can't help him. Running away from the square into the one place the fire did not destroy, I passed the wreckage of the mayor's house where my friend Mage lived. No word of her or her family. Were they evacuated to the capital because of her father's position, or left to the flames? Ashes spill up around me, and I pull the hem of my shirt up over my mouth. It's not wondering what I breathe in. But who? That threatens to choke me. The grass has been scorched, and the gray snow fell here as well. But the 12 fine houses of the Victor's village are unscathed. I bolt into the house I lived in for the past year, slam the door closed, and lean back against it. The place seems untouched, clean, eerily quiet. Why did I come back to 12? How can this visit help me answer the question I can't escape? What am I going to do? I whisper to the walls because I really don't know. People keep talking at me, talking. Plutarch Heavensby, his calculating assistant, Fulvia Cardew, a mismatch of district leaders, military officials, but not Alma Coyne, the president of 13, who just watches. She's 50 or so with gray hair that falls in an unbroken sheet to her shoulders. I'm somewhat fascinated by her hair since it's so uniform. So without a flaw, a wisp, even a split end. Her eyes are great, but not like those of people from the scene. Very pale, as if almost all the color has been sucked out of them. The color of slush that you wish would melt away. What they want is for me to truly take on the role they designed for me, the symbol of the revolution, the Mockingjay, It isn't enough what I've done in the past, defying the capital of the games, providing a rallying point. I must now become the actual leader, the face, the voice, the embodiment of the revolution. The person who the districts, most of which are now openly at war with the capital, can count on to blaze the path to victory. I won't have to do it alone. They have a whole team of people to make me over, dress me, write my speeches, orchestrate my appearances, as if that doesn't sound horribly familiar. And all I have to do is play my part. Sometimes I listen to them, and sometimes I just watch the perfect line of Coin's hair and try to decide if it's awake. Eventually, I leave the room because my head starts to ache, or it's time to eat, or if I don't get above ground, I might start screaming. I don't bother to say anything. I simply get up and walk out. Yesterday afternoon, as the door was closing behind me, I heard Coin say, "I told you we should have rescued the boy first," meaning PETA. I couldn't agree more. He would have been an excellent mouthpiece. And who did they fish out of the arena instead? Me, who won't cooperate. BT, an older inventor from 3, who I rarely see because he was pulled into weapons development the minute he could sit upright. Literally, they wheeled his hospital bed into some top secret area, and now he only occasionally shows up for meals. He's very smart and very willing to help the cause, but not really firebrand material. Then there's Finnick O'Dare, the sex symbol from the fishing district, who kept PETA alive in the arena when I couldn't. They want to transform Finnick into a rebel leader as well, but first they'll have to get him to stay awake for more than 5 minutes. Even when he is conscious, you have to say everything to him 3 times to get through to his brain. The doctors say it's from the electrical shock he received in the arena, but I know it's a lot more complicated than that. I know that Finnick can't focus on anything in 13 because he's trying so hard to see what's happening in the capital to Annie, the mad girl from his district who's the only person on Earth he loves. Despite serious reservations, I had to forgive Finnick for his role in the conspiracy that landed me here. He at least has some idea of what I'm going through, and it takes too much energy to stay angry with someone who cries so much. I moved through the downstairs on Hunter's feet, reluctant to make any sound. I pick up a few remembrances. A photo of my parents on their wedding day, a blue hair ribbon for Prim, family book of medicinal and edible plants. The book falls open to a page with yellow flowers, and I shut it quickly because it was Pew's brush that painted them. What am I going to do? End part. Okay, let me make sure I actually ended. Yeah, that was a good, very good ending point, Jash. You did an excellent ending point. Okay, I guess the first question to answer is, why did this part take so long getting out? And the reason I didn't say so in the beginning is because I take different takes, and the beginning of the video for me is not one place for updates. So what happened is I uploaded part 1 to YouTube, and then a day or so later they flagged it for inappropriate content. Those of you who don't just watch this channel but watch my podcast channel, Jash Talks, or I might have mentioned on my main channel, Jashikins, but I definitely know I mentioned an episode or two of Jash on my podcast channel. And yeah, inappropriate content. So I mean, I was expecting maybe a copyright. I mean, it'd be stupid because this is, I believe, covered within Creative Commons. And so I was bitching about this for a little bit, and I sent in hey, the appeal thing, which annoyed me even more because I had broken down point by point why the inappropriate thing didn't work, and how I did the whole dramatic reading of the first Animorphs book, and how I never came into the problem. And so I had to shorten that down a lot. And so recently it was put back up. I was fucking excited, but when it was finally put back up, I was too busy to do these dramatic readings. So I was like, yay, finally I can continue. And I was going to do this episode last night and then finish up the chapter today. Thing is, I won't get into the whole juicy details. Those of my friends in Payland Facebook have seen the status update about it. And, basically, the shot glass I always use broke, and I just found out about it. Long story short, and I was heartbroken. It's like I had a child, and I don't even get its, remains to look at. And so first of all, the shot glass was the 30th year anniversary of Return of the Jedi. I believe it had Revenge of the Jedi on it. And it was from Disney, one of Disney's Star Wars weekends. And also, I've had that shot glass since, I started this channel. And it was like my little reward. So in the future, I will be probably getting another shot glass. For now, I'll just, take a swig of sake. It just won't ever be the same. Even if I give one that looks exactly like it, it will never be the same. So that's the whole dramatic story about why this part was so late in the making. Okay, about the chapter itself, just now that I wanted to make sure I covered that before I forgot. But about the chapter itself, it's still, I'm just thinking about my damn shot glass. It's like my little baby. If you've watched Cougar Town, when a wine glass is broken, that's like, I can fully fucking relate to that now. And okay, about the what I've read so far, it's Katniss is going over what they want her to do, and she doesn't fucking want anything to do with it. What I've always really loved about Katniss is she's really not a hero in the common sense of the word, like how we usually define hero, and I wouldn't really say she's an anti-hero anymore. She's just reluctant, and she just happens to get into all these situations. And one of the things, I guess of inappropriate content would be stuff like, hang on, where was that point in the goddamn chapter tonight? It's not wondering what I breathe in, but who, that threatens to choke me. It's like, well, still, it's a young adult book, but this is one dark fucking book. She's talking about breathing in the ashes of someone. It's like, ugh. God. But I grew up with Animorphs that has, well, if you saw with the dramatic reading of the first book of Animorphs, oh God, yeah. That's the shit. So if you want to talk about what happened in the chapter tonight, feel free to just, no spoilers for the rest of the book. Basically, how spoilers will work in this will be, you can talk about things from the first two books because this is the third one in the trilogy. So, but don't don't have any big spoilers for further than I am in the dramatic reading. We'll be fine. Let's start a little nerd conversation. And yeah, this is fucking awkward. I know what I'm going to do, but it's like I'm used to like pulling out the chocolates like, hey. But okay, everyone who can, has a shot glass, get your fucking shot glasses out. And if you don't drink alcohol for whatever reason, maybe you're underage, maybe you just don't like alcohol, whatever reason, drink something healthy like water or milk or orange juice, something healthy, and take a shot of that. For the rest of us, I'm having sake. Yeah, you can comment below and tell me what you do a shot of during these parts in the videos. But before this, I want to say that the next episode will be coming out hopefully tomorrow. I don't know what happens, but I do plan for that. And not until next video, and here's to finally getting these dramatic readings back up off the ground again. Woot woot! Sake. If you're wondering, I only really take some sake here for these dramatic readings. Besides that, that's like the whole point of the sake under the desk. And like people have joked about, oh, that's the cope with living with your dad. Being 29 years old and living with your parent. Well, no, it's for these. It's really nerdy. It's my reward for doing these. So, until next video, goodbye.